For me, it's about the law and people. I just need facts, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Just facts. And how people can resolve their problems and just be better for it.
Justice with passion.
I always knew I was going to go into law because I tried to see everybody's point of view in an argument. And I encouraged people to talk to each other to try to resolve their problems.
Justice with truth.
Do not waste your time and do not waste mine.
This is Justice for All with Judge Cristina Pérez. John Walters is suing Stephen Wright in the amount of $3,000. Mr. Walters claims Mr. Wright wanted to know if his girlfriend was cheating and says the defendant refuses to pay him now that he's finished his investigation.
Mr. Walters, you're a private investigator.
Yes.
All right, so what did Mr. Wright hire you to do?
He thought his girlfriend was cheating on him, and he hired me to surveil her and try to determine whether or not she was cheating.
You hired Mr. Wright, you hired Mr. Walters
Yes,
as a private investigator to investigate your girlfriend.
Yes, ma'am. We hadn't been getting along. She'd been really distant, and one day I'd asked to borrow her phone to check the football scores, and she'd received a message from a number that wasn't in her phone, saying some kind of questionable things like, I had a great time last night, can't wait to see you again. So combining that with everything else, I kind of did assume that she was maybe doing something else. We got into a fight discussing it. She stormed off and said she was going to be staying with someone. After that, I decided to hire Mr. Walters.
Okay, so you felt the best way to handle it was to hire a private investigator?
Before I straight on confronted her, yes. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just being crazy. And I know it sounds crazy, but I wanted to make sure.
How much did you spend on or how much were you going to spend on the private investigating services?
So the initial agreement was, it was kind of an open-ended thing as far as how long the engagement would be, but the fee was $150 per hour.
Okay. So, Mr. Walters, how long have you been a private investigator?
For about 4 years.
4 years. How's your fee structure organized? Explain that to me.
It's just an hourly fee structure.
Okay. And what's your hourly fee?
$150 per hour.
So how long did the defendant, Mr. Wright, hire you for?
Initially for 1 week.
1 week. How many hours were you supposed to invest in the week?
Well, I have a timesheet if you'd like to see it.
Give that to Cinder and any other relevant evidence that you may have.
There's actually 2 timesheets, but...
Is that for her too?
Yeah, this is the check for the initial week that he paid for.
So then, explain. So how many hours did you invest?
I believe it was 20 on the first week and also on the second week.
So 20 on the first week. So he paid you, and what's this check for $3,000?
The check for $3,000 was for the first week.
Yep.
After I reported to him, I did not find any evidence of cheating. She was basically volunteering for a homeless shelter and for a soup kitchen.
Okay. What was his reaction to that?
He said, well, she's obviously still doing something wrong. You just haven't found it. I need you to keep working on it.
Okay, so is that correct? Did you ask him to do a second week of surveillance because you were not satisfied?
What he offered was to go back because he had only been able to survey from distance. He wanted to go back and try and go into the shelter to see if he can get more information.
Whose idea
I said
was
that he offered that.
So it was your idea to do a second week?
No, it was not my idea.
Okay.
But he did offer that he would be willing to go and do that again, and I was still convinced that there was something that was going on.
Well, first of all, $6,000 into a private investigator when you could, no offense against your profession, please, but $6,000, you spent $6,000 on, or were going to spend $6,000 on somebody instead of using your own common sense of speaking to your girlfriend.
Well, and again, Your Honor, we did try and talk it out, but she became non-communicative, wasn't trying to work it out, and then, like I said, started acting suspicious when I would try and address things with her.
But still, you've been dating her for 2 years. I mean,
I didn't want to give up on it, Your Honor.
But that's enough confidence for you to sit down with her and say, hey, something's going on. I'm not feeling right.
I was at my wit's end, Your Honor. I just wanted to find an answer. Wow. He seemed reputable. It seemed like a good idea.
What happened on the second week, Mr. Walters?
During the second week, the first half of the week was basically the same. She was going to the homeless shelter and the soup kitchen. I couldn't tell what was happening on the inside, and I made the decision to go on the inside to act as a volunteer to maybe see if there was anything going
Makes
on
sense.
that I wasn't
That's
able
logical.
to view from the
Right.
outside. I still realized that there was still nothing going on. She was just there volunteering, doing good work. And at that point, she actually approached me because I was a new guy, and she was just kind of introducing herself. And frankly, we hit it off. She was a good person. She had a good heart. I also told him that I felt that it was a conflict because I started to have feelings for her, and I wanted to see her.
On one day, you felt you had feelings?
Just because
that was my reaction, Your Honor.
I have a thing for Latino women and wearing all black. So.
Okay.
Anyways,
good taste.
Yeah.
What can I say?
I wanted to see where it was going to go.
Coming up on Justice for All.
Who am I going to believe? A guy who spent $6,000 because he's insecure about his girlfriend, or an individual who actually did the job he was supposed to do?
And later,
we're, in the audience watching, and the dress fell apart 1 minute into the show.
We're back with the case of John Walters, who is suing Stephen Wright for breach of contract.
All right, so then after that Friday, since you felt you had some type of feeling or you really liked her, you thought professionally it would be a good idea to let the defendant, Mr. Wright, know, saying, hey, listen, I completed the second week.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to continue doing this because, A, she's not cheating on you, B, you're wasting your money, and I kind of like her.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at that point, I felt like it was going to become a conflict of interest if I were to see her.
Well, that's professional. All right. And then what happened, Mr. Wright? Well, give me a copy of the contract, please. I want to see the original. I know you have the original. Okay, there we go. So I just only have copies. So then, Mr. Wright, what else happened?
Well,
so then
after that,
you received this message from him, and?
Yeah, after the second week where I expected him to find more information, instead I get a note saying that he doesn't want to pursue the investigation anymore because he has feelings with my girlfriend and has gone on and has engaged her, is starting to date her, and says that they are actually going to pursue a romantic endeavor.
You said that on Friday, that you were going to do that?
That was the message I received from him, telling him he was severing the service.
After the second week, when I made the decision that it was a conflict of interest, I felt like with my integrity involved, I had to let him know this is what's going on.
Okay, that you liked her.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so what's the problem, Mr. Wright? He completed services for the second week.
His services that he completed were engaging my girlfriend and seducing her. He proved that she was willing to cheat on me.
No,
so in that, he proved he did his service.
No. I mean, now I think you're over. They say women over-exaggerate and imagine and go crazy with their imagination. I think that's what you're doing. I think that he.
I understand that, Your Honor, but he still breached the contract, Your Honor.
Can I finish what I'm saying?
Of course.
So it seems to me that you hired Mr. Walters to do a job. He did it the first week. You paid him. He did it the second week because you instructed him to do it.
He did not perform the jobs that I hired him to do in the second week.
Instead, what did he do?
Instead, he seduced my girlfriend, Your Honor.
How do you know he seduced her?
Because as you pointed out, he went from allegedly not having
How do you know he seduced her? She's the one who approached him on Friday and started
allegedly, from what he says, Your Honor. I don't even know.
Have you even spoken to your girlfriend?
I have spoken to my girlfriend.
Did you ask her what happened?
I did, and that's what led to this fight.
Is she still your girlfriend?
After that second week, and I received his note, shortly thereafter, within that next week, she informed me that she was leaving me for someone else.
Okay, but wasn't it a hint before you hired him that something was wrong with the relationship?
Of course, which is why I hired him to confirm it. And instead of confirming it,
you didn't even need him to confirm it. Your gut tells you things aren't right, something's going on. Right?
But that does not excuse the fact that he did not actually fulfill the second terms. I did not get a report or anything from the second week of what happened. All it was that he said was, I fell for your girlfriend. I'm not going to do the work anymore.
How is that the case when I did do the work? She wasn't cheating on you during the
He did give you the timesheet.
For the second week.
He did give you the timesheet.
But the second week was him talking to my girlfriend and engaging with my girlfriend. It wasn't him doing reconnaissance. It wasn't him.
Okay, who am I going to believe? A guy who spent $6,000 because he's insecure about his girlfriend, or an individual who actually did the job he was supposed to do, professional job he was supposed to do, and actually told you, hey, I'm not going to do this anymore because I think I like her?
But he should have never engaged with her in the first place, Your Honor, if he was just supposed to be getting this information.
He did not engage with her. She engaged with her. He said hello to her.
Well, yeah, according to his story, she came
And
to him.
haven't you ever heard that sometimes private investigators, they actually have to speak to the person that they're investigating, right?
At the end of the day, the second week, I had asked him to do these things, and instead to continue to find out who she was potentially having an affair with. And he did say that he didn't think she was, but then engage in an affair with her. So by doing so, I mean, he kind of proved himself right.
He did not engage in an affair the second week. Are you dating her now?
Yes, they are dating, Your Honor. That was the note that I got. He said that he was actually going to start a romantic relationship with her, and she left me.
If I could finish the question that she asked,
of course, sir.
You're dating
asked
now?
of me. The answer is yes, I am dating her now, but it's 3 months later.
Okay.
Nothing happened between her and I until after the investigation was over, which is why I ended.
Then why did she leave me a week after for you? I mean, that
because of your lack of respect
and I
for the
understand
woman.
that, and I have no problem with.
I think she was going to leave you anyway. I hate to be blunt, but I think he was going to leave you anyway, and you actually put a good-looking guy who maybe had more in common with her in her path. And nature took its course.
And
so,
Your Honor, and I'm fine with all of that. I just don't think I should have to pay for that second week when he was not actually doing what I had expected him to ask. Instead, he ended up.
He did. He investigated her for a week, and on Friday, when he spoke to her, he realized, okay, she's really cool, she's really nice, I think I may like her, and I'm not going to do this anymore because she's not cheating on you. So what's wrong with that? At least he was honest with you, saying, I'm just not going to do this. She's not cheating on you. She's actually a really nice person. I mean, you paid $6,000 for that agony when you could have come to me for free and I would have told you what to do.
I appreciate that,
Okay?
Your Honor.
So based on the evidence, I find that there was a good faith agreement between the plaintiff and the defendant. The defendant failed to pay the remaining of the second week of services that were provided, and I will rule in favor of the plaintiff for $3,000. Good luck.
Thank you.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $3,000.
Hey, look, sometimes you win some, you lose some. Today I won.
Well, I can say this, you guys definitely deserve each other, and I guess I was right, because she was perfectly willing to be cheating.
Coming up on Justice for All.
It's hard for me to decipher because you didn't go for a final fitting a week before. So I don't know if she just did a horrible job or if your daughter's body changed. So how am I supposed to know?
Could her body change that much in 3 to 4 weeks?
Maybe.
Margaret White is suing Jennifer Wilcox in the amount of $366. Ms. White claims she hired Ms. Wilcox to make her daughter's costume for a dance competition and says the dress fell apart as her daughter was performing.
Okay, Mrs. White, you are suing the defendant, Mrs. Wilcox, for $366 because you claim this dress was not made properly. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And this dress your daughter wore?
Yes.
How old is your daughter?
She's 10.
She's 10 years old.
Yeah.
And what was this for? For dancing? For gymnastics?
My daughter's a ballet dancer, and so this dress was made by Miss Wilcox for a competition for Swan Lake for an off-Broadway show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And so tell me how you came about to find Mrs. Wilcox and why you hired her.
Okay. I hired Miss Wilcox because she's her daughter is also in the same studio that my daughter attends, and word got around that she makes costumes for recitals. And so I approached her and asked her if she would make a costume for my daughter's recital.
Okay.
She said yes and said it would take about 3 weeks or so. So we picked out, Angelina and I picked out the fabric, the colors. We had a fitting about 3 to 4 weeks prior to the competition.
Okay.
We paid $366, which covered labor and fabric. The fitting was about 3 to 4 weeks prior, as I said, and it fit Angelina perfectly.
Okay.
The day of the recital, we're in the audience watching, and the dress fell apart 1 minute into the show.
What do you mean fell apart?
As you can, if you don't mind, if I can just show you here. It was literally ripping apart at the seams.
Okay.
She's 10, so her body was exposed here, right above her breast, and over here as well.
Coming up.
Did your daughter's body change in 3 to 4 weeks? It's a slight possibility. Was the craftsmanship so bad? It's a slight possibility. Something has to give.
We're back with the case of Margaret White, who is suing Jennifer Wilcox for defective product.
Everyone was gasping. It was terrible. She was embarrassed. She couldn't complete it. I had to go behind stage and found out that she was disqualified because her costume was not intact.
Don't you customarily go like a week or so before to get a final fitting? Did you get a final fitting?
No, we didn't.
Why not?
Because she was the same weight. You know, she exercises.
No, but I'm not talking about weight. I'm talking about a final fitting because was it completed, actually done and completed 3 weeks before the recital?
It was completed, if I may, Your Honor.
So it was completed.
It was, but I did suggest that they come back for that final fitting. It is customary that clients do come back for a final fitting.
Okay.
And
when it fit her 3 to 4 weeks before her daughter, how did it fit?
It did fit. It did fit very well. They came for the fitting. It fit like a glove, but I still did recommend that they come for the final fitting, preferably the week of the competition.
All right. What do you think happened? Why would it get destroyed so dramatically?
I am not one to pick on children, and I am sorry, Margaret, but I do think that her measurements changed. I think that
in 3 to 4 weeks they changed?
I do. I think, you know, it's a tender age, and my daughter, I know she's growing like a weed at 10, and her body is changing at 10. So I always make sure to fit her right before a dance competition, and I do wish that they'd come back for that final fitting.
Okay. So did your daughter, I hate to even, did her body change? Did she gain a little weight? Did she start?
Her body didn't change. I mean, she's growing. She's going through puberty. You know, but these dresses should give. It should give for a little bit.
Judge Perez's verdict when Justice for All returns.
It's hard for me to decipher because you didn't go for a final fitting a week before. So I don't know if she just did a horrible job or if your daughter's body changed. So how am I supposed to know?
Could her body change that much in 3 to 4 weeks?
Maybe it could. Maybe she got, I don't know. But those are all those things that I have to take into consideration. She said that she felt that her daughter changed, that your daughter changed, that she's, and you just said to me she's going through puberty.
But even so,
a lot can happen in puberty. So did your daughter's body change in 3 to 4 weeks? It's a slight possibility. Was the craftsmanship so bad? It's a slight possibility. You know, something has to give. I mean, you didn't go for a final fitting, so we're never going to really know. So here's the thing. I think that you both probably could have done a little bit more to make this arrangement work. So I think the fair thing to do is to split this down the middle. So what I think is fair, Ms. Wilcox, that the total amount of the dress was what, $366. You will reimburse Ms. White $183. Okay? Is that fair, ladies?
Yes. Thanks, Your Honor.
Thank you so much, and good luck to your daughter and your daughter at recital.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $183.
I don't agree with Judge Perez, but I have no choice.
I will be taking a loss on this project, but I have learned a valuable lesson, and I think my business will grow from it. I will demand a final fitting in the future.